The Leoking will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leoking will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leoking will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leoking will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leoking will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's David Palmer, Leo King, and you are here live on highvibe.tv for Deep Astrology, your weekly astrology forecast for the week of September 24th through the 29th of 2019. This is where we go deep into the astrology, where I channel it for you, and we're going to go real deep into your soul and make sure that you understand what's going on in the planets. And then, of course, we go deep into the charts, which are brought to you by Astro Gold, which are on iOS, Android, and of course, you can get that on your MacBook, your iPad. But if you're on PC, make sure that you check out Solar Fire. And of course, we're bringing this to you live on highvibe.tv. This is the spiritual network with tons of content, my exclusive content of my horoscopes, daily-wise, weekly-wise, tarot-wise, so much. And we have so many other awesome people on there doing awesome work. Make sure that you check it out because it is that network that helps bring you this show for free. I also have a new product that I want to tell you all about that I'm going to be promoting. These are this awesome collection of astrology jewelry, which are rings and necklaces, sterling silver, 18 karat gold, 18 karat rose gold. And this is an awesome collection brought to you by the W Brothers. So if you go to their website, the W Brothers, check out the collections, the Horoscope collection. I have my Leo ring on. I've been wearing it for the last 2 weeks, making sure that this thing was the bomb before I took this. It is awesome. They have awesome, awesome stuff. The quality is amazing, and it's super awesome that you can get in all these different kinds of metals, and especially, like, I want to check out a gold one. You know, I've been wearing the sterling silver one, and it's been awesome to match my fleur-de-lis, but you know what? Check it all out. They also have necklaces as well. Put in LK10 as the discount code so you can get a discount as well. So check it out, the wbrothers.com. Collections, the horoscope collection. Oh, the W Bros. Yeah, W Bros. Anyway, this is a week to talk about. Holy moly, moly cow. It's a new moon in Libra at the end of this week. So that means the moon is waning. And this is going to be a dark moon week. And we have some really intense energy. We have now moved into Libra, if you haven't noticed. I'm sure you felt that big equinox, by the way, yesterday, as we are now turning the season. So I just want to tell everybody, if you weren't on Deep Love Tarot last night, happy equinox to you. We've changed seasons. Of course, I'm in California and in the Northern Hemisphere, so we go into fall here, and I'm like, I'm a summer kind of guy. Although I don't mind the fall either. It does bring out more, you know, well, here in California, it really doesn't change too much. But, you know, I am going to say that equinoxes are very important. They shift so much. Not only in the idea, if you understand astrotheology, or even if you understand what really the understanding of Western astrology is, with the whole Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, and understanding how we define astrology is really through understanding the solstice and equinox points. And Libra is a time where, you know, the sun comes to its fall position. So it's not at its strongest, but it is realizing that connections and, you know, equality and fairness and balance, this is a time for us to really restore that balance in our life, restore that fairness, and see what is equal to us and what is not, and having to be discerning in that aspect. But this is an intense time, because if we look at this new moon that's building in Libra, we have Venus, which is in Libra, the natural sign that rules Venus. We have it here, and this is a big time for relationships now that the sun has finally joined Mercury and Venus. And so relationships become extreme. And it was funny because, the last month and a half, I did this awesome video, which was the Passion of Venus. And I brought it to September 23rd of the fated aspects in relationships and how it was going to deal with projects and connecting to our destinies. And here you are. Now the big question is where does this all go? Venus this week, we start off, as we're talking right now, it's squaring over to Saturn and Capricorn, which has come direct. And this is really having to make some really intense, harsh choices, but also dealing with blocks, dealing with, man, this doesn't feel good. Because remember, Venus is at home when it's in Libra, but it's squaring Saturn at home in Capricorn. And Venus square Saturn, I was born with this in my chart. You know what? When you feel rejected or when you feel like something's not working or that it's just not going the way that you really want to or the plans don't go the right way in relationship aspects, oh boy, does it not feel good. But I'm here to tell you that it requires us all to toughen up. Yeah, that's right. That's what Saturn's asking you to do, is toughen yourself up and look to the long term. It's like, if this doesn't work, move on in life to a longer term thing. Because what is Capricorn? Capricorn's about achievement. And it's about making sure that we keep moving forward. And with this south node here, there becomes this delusion on Saturn of like, I can't move forward, or oh gosh. And Venus in Libra, of course, doesn't want to deal with Saturn because Venus wants to be free. Venus wants to express itself in Libra. It wants to be in beauty and in harmony and in love and in happiness. And with this moon in Leo to start this off with, there's this energy of wanting love and connection. But with Saturn, it's just asking like, well, is it showing up or not? Is it going long term? And, Venus square Saturn is reminding that, you know what? You have to take the truth and you have to take the reality checks of what's going on. And if you do that, then you can aspect beautiful things if you're willing to just accept the reality and then change the reality. And I'm saying that because if we really take a look, not only does Venus square Saturn, it is squaring the north and south nodes. The north node in Cancer, the south node in Capricorn. So there is this fatalistic moment here when it comes to relationships, when it comes to, where are we going? Are we playing this old Capricorn, well, this is traditional, or, this is how I saw things to be and it's not going this way? You got to go to the north node in Cancer. Where is there comfort? Where is there just energy that's willing to support you and love and care? Because this is an energy in your life that you need, because you were feeling drained if you don't have it, because Saturn in Capricorn with the south node feels like a boneyard, I call it. It's like literally being in the Lion King and hanging out with, I guess you could say the hyenas, and it's just like they've just eaten all the little bones off everything, and you're like, there's nothing left. I know the vegans out there won't like that one, but I am just going to say that, it kind of feels that way. Well, even, me, I'm a comedian, to add a little bit of vegan comedy in there. If you remember in The Lion King, there wasn't even any more grass to even eat. It was so desolate after Scar took over. And you know what? Saturn actually is Scar is a very good definition of Saturn. It's almost like right now, when you think about your relationship life, it almost feels like you're hanging out in Scar's world for relationships. And what happened to Mufasa? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Where the frick is Mufasa? And Simba's just fucking hanging out in another world. Kind of a weird way to put it. But with this week, this is a major Venus aspect. And because the sun's in Libra, we're dealing with this extremely. But we have to remember that with Venus square the nodes, we need to pay attention to the Cancerian part of this north node. This is where the eclipses were in July. So the buildup from June into July, all the stuff about relationships that happened into your life, that is in stone. That is what happened. Like, eclipses set the tone. So if you're in still of this typical Libra story, which is like, let me weigh it out, or I hope it'll change, or maybe this. That's like the negative part of Libra. The positive part of Libra is being like, yep, this is unfair, this is not showing up to me, and I am making a judgment call, and this is what Saturn's asking. Because you got to remember that Saturn loves Libra. It's exalted in Libra, where we can be a judge, right? If the evidence shows up that it's not showing up the way that we want to in life, or the evidence is showing that this is not fair, we usually go, yeah, that's not fair, you're guilty, you're non-guilty, or whatever, or the plaintiff is the one that gets this winning, or nope, you know what, the defendant does. But you know what, it's like you gotta look at evidence. This is a logical air sign. And I know we want to be heavily emotional with this North Node in Cancer, but this is where we can have the emotions we want if we're logical, and we go towards where is the beautiful doors. Mercury is sextiling Jupiter, and then Venus, when it comes off of this hard aspect here on Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, it comes into awesome aspects with Jupiter, which is in Sagittarius, which delivers gifts and opens you up to an amazing world. But you have to be willing to open your doors, open to new horizons, and have adventures. I have been pounding this on people, pounding it so hard. Like, what is so hard about opening up to the most amazing life in the world? People are going to think I'm hypomanic right now. But it is frustrating being an astrologer and watching the world freak out. Even though people think I'm freaking out. I'm just trying to show some positivity here. That Jupiter is here in its home sign. Remember, once every 12 years. Last time was 2007. Well, guess what, folks? December, Jupiter ain't coming back for a long time, 12 more years. So you got to realize that we don't have a lot of time left of opening doors. And if you're going to close yourself off to experience and not accept what the reality is and not do the evidence in your life right now, especially when it comes to partnerships, especially when it comes to rebalancing your life and figuring out, because whether it's projects or your work life or your family or anything that you're going through right now, there is a moment where it's like, you know what? We need to find a more beautiful road here. And if the evidence is at a place where it's just not working out, Saturn is like, yeah, you know what? What does Saturn do? Saturn says no, and it says what is on the trail and who's on the team. And you know what? We live in a society today, when you go play t-ball, it's like nobody wins anymore. You know, it's like, oh, okay, like, yeah, it's a tie. It's like, no. If you start sitting in that place, guess what? Nobody learns how to discern in reality anymore about whether or not this doesn't work and this does work. And that might trigger a bunch of people out there. Because I remember when I played t-ball as a kid, when I played sports, guess what? I remember losing. I remember winning too. And by that understanding, that's how we understand where we can learn when we lose. And what we can do to change that to go into something that's better. And that's where, and to be better. You know, I remember I was a pitcher, I was a shortstop, and I was a catcher. So, you know, if I have old videotapes of this shit, you know what I mean? Like me, like totally walking someone, you know what I mean? It's like, man, I used to watch tapes and I'd be like, you know what? I need to throw that ball a little bit different. And so right now you have to realize that we need to take a new approach. That's what Jupiter's asking for, to expand into new approaches. I want to say with this new moon that's building, we're going to have a dark moon. And remember, dark moons are the 2.5 days, the balsamic phase we call this, that's right before the new moon. That's going to happen on, technically it's on Saturday, but really it's Friday as we're coming in to this. And this dark moon phase that we're going to see when this moon comes out of Leo, which is actually in a good place on Tuesday into Wednesday, right? It's like, it's all excited, but if you're dealing with this Venus-Saturn thing, you're not willing to open up to love and happiness, instead of trying to love things that are blocked or love things that are dead and over, or trying to fantasize about evidence that you know isn't true. You know, if the glove doesn't fit, acquit, you know what I mean? Like, but the glove did fucking fit, you know what I mean? So, long story short is like you kind of have to realize that this moon in Leo is really trying to connect with Venus and connect with Mercury and find this positive thing. But if you even just watch the news today, I mean, gosh, what a negative news cycle about the world and fear and so much. And this is where it's like, you know what? There's all this fear. And all this fear is about losing something. Right? Like, guess what? Go into the fear. Lose it. Watch what happens. You'll gain everything you've ever wanted in your life. And this is where this new moon is about, because it's going to make a very unique quincunx to Uranus in Taurus. Now, what's interesting is, if you remember, and some of you might be new here, and some of you might not be following astrology all the time, but the last new moon that happened that was in Virgo a month ago was exactly trine Uranus. That's why this has been a crazy month, where the universe has been saying, like, are you moving in a better life, or are you still trying to go backwards? Because Uranus is about moving forward only. It doesn't want to go backwards, because advancing forward in innovation, and especially in Taurus where it's at, remember it hasn't been in Taurus since the 1930s and the early 30s, and 33, 34, 34 especially, got bang in there. So you have to remember that there's this big quality of life now about when you move forward into new things, greater things show up. And I think that that's hard for people. And this month was really that big test because Uranus is the big bad wolf, right? It'll just blow your house down if it's built of straw. And every time you keep trying to build a straw house that you know is built out of straw, guess what? It's like, fuck you. So this new moon in Libra is saying, you want quality, you want greatness, move into new energy. Uranus is about new, radically new, and doing things that are different, rebelling, trying something with edge. Uranus is edgy, by the way. The situations that you're dealing with that haven't worked out or aren't working out is because there's not enough edge, there's not enough quality, and the quality wasn't there. That's what Uranus is trying to teach you, to build that brick house. And it's like, are you ready to build that? Or are you, oh, this was easy. This was, Virgo. I understood it so well. And with Mars still in Virgo this week, we have to remember that we can make major changes in our lives. And it's not even about cleaning up a mess anymore. When you come to the last decan of Virgo with where Mars is at right now, this is about making life changes and actually experiencing a healthier, more positive and amazing life. But we have to be willing to make those changes, change our reality. And with Uranus in this quincunx, man. But what's even bigger about this week is the Sun opposed Chiron. Remember, Chiron's in Aries in retrograde. And with the Sun in Libra, right, we want this relationship, this positivity, this balance, this beauty, this harmony. But with Chiron here in Aries, it's like, oh yeah, your ego and the way that you want it to look, oh yeah, the universe is almost like, yeah, your ego is the problem. Your ego, your identity of how you want things, because the universe is, especially I believe this wholeheartedly with Jupiter in its home sign, Venus in its home sign, Neptune in its home sign, and of course Saturn in its home sign, which I'm telling you, we'll never see this much in their home signs in our lives again. That this is a time for us to trust God. That God knows, and especially Uranus is the ruler of the route to the heavens, the stairway to heaven, the old understanding of Uranus is he is the god of the skies because he's so close to God that he has not the full understanding, but he has enough to where he can tell if God's taking a poop or having a really good shag, you know what I mean? So you almost want to listen to this Uranian energy because it's about advancing forward. Like, hey, I just heard God kind of doing this, like, let's go this way, And Uranus is Aquarius, it's the Aquarian energy about moving on. And, with Aquariuses, they detach, right? It's like, nope, okay, I'm done with that, and they move forward. And it's like, whoa. It's like cold as ice, Foreigner has a point. But I think that we have to, with this North Node in Cancer and with people being in such stressful, emotional places, it's only because of this Chiron and Aries of like, I want it to look this way, my story of my beautiful story, my relationships and all this stuff. And the universe is like, you know what? Actually, your ego and the way that you think that you want it to look is not what I see that is better for you. That God is saying that there is a better life, more quality, and that there's a lot of issues in what your ego wants and how it wants to do, especially Chiron and Aries, right? This healing element, but more importantly, it's this deformed energy. It didn't really form fully. So the things that you really wanted actually were not fully formed. They were not fully there. You know me, I call Chiron the Quasimodo of the zodiac because that asteroid is definitely morphing into forms and doesn't look like a planet, but is acting like a planet. And he is Quasimodo up there in the Tower of Notre Dame, which ironically enough burned down this year. Was it Quasimodo? That's the whole thing, though, is that we can separate ourselves from beauty and happiness by continuing to just hold on to this identification that is warped of how we want things to look. And this month, I'm just going to prepare you all, because if you look at now where exactly, because now that Uranus has retrograded to 5, and now that Neptune has retrograded back to 16 of Pisces, guess what? That semi-square of Neptune and Uranus is back. That means if you start feeding this delusional aspect of things that are not spiritually aligned, things that are not showing up with spiritual integrity, and more importantly, are not the true quality of advancing forward in your life. And especially as we see with the media right now, as Neptune rules the media, and it's in that weird semi-square to Uranus again, and we're at 46, going to be 45, and an exact 45 is a semi-square. That you are feeding and creating your own media crazy storm in your own life, in your own soul. Because you want it to look a certain way, and you're trying to project your own crazy, radical image of some sort of value that actually is not really in alignment with the truth of what's better out there for you. And all this stuff we're seeing right now in the media and everything, a lot of people are going to be attached on one side, right? Like, especially, it doesn't matter if you're in British politics or you're in American politics. Both guys are being tried to be taken down right now. No irony in that. So, of course, there's going to be people that are like, oh, I want to see Trump gone, and I want to see Boris Johnson gone. There's going to be a side that's like, no, I don't want to see Trump gone. I don't want to see it. But guess what? With Chiron here in opposition, it's almost like we'll all experience our own version of this, where it's like, oh, yeah, I want it to look this way, and it won't go that way. It'll, like, twist on you, like, nope, sorry. So attachment to this, oh, yeah, I want it to be this way, is like, yeah. It's not showing up that way fully, so just let it go. This is a big test for you to allow, with Jupiter especially, with these awesome aspects to Mercury and to Venus, to allow this beautiful energy to open up doors in your life. This is the time. And this is a moment with this dark moon, I got to get back to this dark moon in Virgo, is where we will stress ourselves out completely this week. And we will try to control everything. Because there is this aspect of control in Virgo, like, well, this is my reality, and this is how I have it, and this is what I'm used to having, and this is how I operate well, right? It's kind of like somebody who works out a lot. It's like, man, I have to be up at 6 in the morning, and I have to eat this, and I have to eat that, and I have to work out this much. And it's like, okay, that's cool and all, but there's this Piscean reminder of don't you want to enjoy the beauty of reality and the connection to soul too? And at times it's okay if you're not exactly on point with how the way life is. It's usually those moments when you kind of get off the track for a second and you wander off with your friend and you're out there in the middle of nowhere and you're looking at the stars, that the deepest stuff happens, the deepest conversations happen, the deepest connections happen. And so we can block ourselves this week by this dark moon opposed Neptune, square Jupiter, of this disbelief and this, I want my life to look this way, and with Chiron opposing the sun at the exact day we're having this dark moon in this T-square, and I'll show you in the charts. I'm just trying to save people from continuing down a deep, dark road of really, when you look at this is your own doing. Of just, no, this isn't attaching the way I want to. It's not fitting in my life the way I want to. And, we always like to say, trying to shove a square peg in a round hole. Oh, you're trying to put an elephant into a corner where a spider might be coming out of. And you're trying to shove that motherfucker in there. And it's not a good sound. When really, Jupiter is like, did you see all these things that want to show up for you in your life? Remember, Jupiter is Santa Claus. Did you see the gift behind the tree yet? That's usually the best gift anyways. You're so focused on the one that's right in front of you that you can't open, or that it's broken and you're going to have to return it or whatever. Did you actually take a look and disconnect for a second of your own ego? And did you search and did you see that I have this gift behind the tree? Or the menorah, or wherever you're at in your religious world, that's where the gifts are. It's the one behind the tree is the one we want, not the one that's always in the front. I always knew that one growing up. I was always like, okay, what's this bull? I'm just gonna be real. What's this bullshit fucking in the front? Probably some socks and probably some fucking whatever, a cool shirt. Hey, I know my mom's probably watching, but hey, Mom, I know what's up. I always remember what was behind, I remember there was those years, this has been a long time now since I'm in my freaking 30s, but you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I remember what was in the back. That was when the BMX bike was in the back. You know what I mean? That was when it was like, whatever it was I wanted back in the day, the Ninja Turtle thing or whatever. Why are you missing out on that shit? I mean, the socks are great, but why are you missing out on the good shit right now? And that's where we're at right now. This is a time where people are going to freak out because Mercury's going to square Pluto this week. And Mercury square Pluto again, it kind of creates this dark vibe on our minds. Mercury's just squared Saturn, so we're dealing with this Mercury-Venus aspects, which are very positive and happy-go-lucky energies in Libra, but dealing with relationships and so forth, that are facing off with this Capricorn of just truth and reality. But Capricorn wants you to achieve, it wants you to win, it wants you to have an accomplishment. So instead of facing your losses and what didn't work, it's asking for you to get up. Because Capricorn doesn't get all Cancerian and be like, you know what, let's go lay you down in a bed and I'll sit down next to you with a bowl of soup and I'll rub your hand and we'll go put Netflix on and we'll just make you feel real nice. That's what the moon does. But if you remember, the moon always needs to be aspected for anything to happen, because when it's void off course, guess what happens? It's like, I don't know what to do, and then people usually get kind of like, okay, this is boring after 20 minutes. So with Saturn, it asks you to pick yourself up. And when I was looking at the astrology, well, I do this astrology in my head, but as I was observing this week, and I was like, yeah, this is a moment where it reminds me of Alfred picking up Bruce Wayne, when he falls into the cave. Or it's actually his father, but his father picks him up and says, what do we do when we fall? And we get up. And Saturn's asking for you to get up. Sure, you've taken some losses. Sure, things didn't go the way you want to in connection and happiness and beauty. That's okay. It wasn't meant to be. And you have to learn to accept that in life right now. But you have to be open to allowing beautiful things into your life, because we all know, and if you've been watching me for long enough, you know I keep hounding people. January is gnarly. The doors are closed. And I really don't want people, and even I have said, coming into October, it's not going to be easy, because look at, we're going to get the sun getting ready to, in this next lunar phase of the next month, square into Saturn, square into Pluto, and all this stuff, and squaring the nodes, and even the full moon that's going to be coming after this, and Aries is going to be squaring Pluto. Like, we have to go through change, and Mercury, our heads, we need to change the way that we think is the best for us as we are weighing out what's right, what's wrong. Pluto's just like, let's just fucking have what we really want in our lives. Not of the ego identity, but the core understanding of the beauty that you want. What is that beauty that you want? Well, what's the fucking issue? Your head, your idea. Oh yeah, I'm weighing this out and it should look like this, or this is the right way, or I said, why can't, and Jupiter's just like laughing in the background, like, why are they not going for the fucking big ass gift behind the tree? Like, I just don't understand it. He's like, it's like a simulator, right? And imagine all these people watching around a table. You got Santa Claus watching going, what the fuck? Look at the fucking shit right behind that tree. And then you got, Saturn, you got the creepy old, Warren Buffett guy who's funding the whole thing, who's just in the background, just like, come on, I need to make my money back. Come on, get up now, get up now. And then you got Pluto, the Grim Reaper, like, this motherfucker needs to stop, or I'm going to have to come down there and just wipe them off the motherfucking planet. You know what I mean? Like, shut that brain up. And then you got Neptune, which, is some angel that you don't quite know if they were just doing cocaine in the back of the bathroom, that's kind of watching and being like, oh, yeah, just release this and everything will be okay. Especially because if you look at where Neptune is at 16 degrees, Venus makes a quincunx to Neptune, Mercury makes a quincunx to Neptune, and it looks at Jupiter. And so Jupiter, remember, has been in a big square. Santa Claus has been looking at this angel kind of like, I mean, I deliver gifts, I know you do, but I'm not drunk. Are you really drunk? Like, did you do coke back there? Like, that's the argument that's been going on. It almost feels like, and this might sound creepy or crazy, and I'm sure all the Christian channels and all the religious channels might think I'm crazy, but it almost feels like God's been really high or drunk or something lately, and we're all like, what the fuck? Are you showing up? This is how you showed up? Like, what the hell? But that's the kind of funny part, is like, you kind of have to laugh it off, like, hey, doesn't God get a break too? I think God gets a break. He's always there, but hey, maybe you needed to go in the back and do some coke or something. I don't know, I don't judge him. And that's the whole thing, is like, this is a moment where you have to laugh. That everything that you are so obsessed with, the darkness in your life and all the fear and all the struggle and all the pain and all the suffering and all the frustration is because you're just trying to chase and just have. Especially with Pluto. Remember, this is in Capricorn and it's getting ready to come direct next week. That it's stopping and there's this part of ourselves that can go real dark. And there's no need to. When there's all this beauty and there's Jupiter saying, I've got you all covered. I just got off that crazy angel that's fucking doing coke in the back. I'm finally able to deliver all the motherfucking gifts and I don't got coal anymore. I got real gifts. Everybody's on the nice list now. Because I already know who's on the naughty list. Like that fucking angel back there is on the naughty list. But everybody else I want to give everything to. Why are you not like being like, hey Santa, hook it up? Instantly. Santa will hook it up this week. Instantly. And get you out of that darkness. Once you just let it go, like you just go, what the fuck? Like this isn't even fair. That's the one thing about Libra. Is it fair? And a part of it is like looking at this ego that's trying to be a warrior that's gonna fight for it. I'm fighting for what's unfair. Okay, go have fun in a long court battle that's gonna kill you energetically, whether it's a literal court battle you want to go through right now or a spiritual court battle of trying to persuade and do all this crazy shit. If you're having to step into that so much, let that one go. That's a long court battle that's just going to end up in like a, I don't know, case dismissed. No judgment on anyone. And you're going to be like, what the fuck? And go your own ways and a waste of time. And Saturn doesn't want to waste time. It's direct now. The last thing I want to say here is with all this stuff going on, this dark moon over Mars is another signal of more weird ego shit about the identity of the reality in which that you think it is. You start to being like, well, if I look outside at other things that Santa's going to give me, like, I don't know if it'll fit in my life, whatever's behind that tree. Like, I have this, I have that, you know, It's like, get out of that shit. Because guess what? Behind that tree, you have no idea. That'd be like me when I got my BMX bike, which was a Dyno VFR. I'll never forget that motherfucker. It was badass bikes. Even though the GT was, the Interceptor was the one to have. It's cool. I'll give Santa, my dad, and my mom some credit. At least they got me the Dyno VFR. But that'd be like me being like, well, I have already a space in my house with this really shitty like mountain bike that I feel like I'm stupid riding, you know, with the old click, click, click gears, and I don't want to ride that thing to school. It's gross. So if I get a Dyno VFR, you know, that's already in that place. And I can't seem to fix it. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, take the Dyno VFR, motherfucker, and take that shit and whatever you do with it, fucking give it to somebody, throw it in the trash, sell it, do whatever the fuck you want, or just like let it out of your life. On the 30th, Monday, Venus is finally, very, very slightly, going to finally pop back up on the horizon. You're going to see Venus again. Venus has been behind the sun. And so this last, 40 days, we've been dealing with Venus behind the sun. We can't see Venus. So that's very hard because what it does is it really puts us into a really weird place with relationships. It burns relationships out. It also, though, burns the fire inside of the desire and what you want, to understand what you want. And we had that conjunction in Leo, which is love, with Juno, which is the ultimate committed energy that you want in partnerships. This goes back to then. That by the end of this week, after a new moon, after these great aspects to Jupiter, and even though, yes, we are going to see Venus square Pluto on Monday, that if you're going to take these gifts and then still try and close the door after you get them, like, oh, I don't know if I like this, or da-da-da, like, you are going to miss out on so much. And I'm going to be honest, you're not going to have a good time. You're not going to have a good week. You're just going to tumble down so deeply. And anxiety and depression, I forgot to mention too, about the rings that are on the wbros.com with that LK10 code. 10% of the profit goes to the anxiety and depression. I forgot what it is. I think it's the ADAA. And that's why I also joined with this project, because as you all know, I have suffered through anxiety and panic disorder for years. I've been in therapy for 4 years, and I gotta thank my therapist, and I gotta thank the hospital that I've been going to for 4 years that changed my life. And I was living in panic and anxiety for years. But I don't want you to end up, especially with depression, because you gotta remember Saturn is very depressive. And when Venus squares it and Mercury squares it, and then you're dealing with Pluto shit, and it's all in Libra and Capricorn's really harsh, just telling you to get up and grow up and spit on that fucking wound and keep moving. And Chiron's gonna oppose this new moon, and Uranus is gonna quincunx it, and Neptune and Uranus are back in their semi-square. I'm telling you, it's like this is either roll the dice for a better life and open up your heart and open up to the greatness in life, or just live in a shithole. Ironically enough, over half of the world lives literally in a shithole after watching Bill Gates' Netflix documentary, and that's what he's trying to do is help people, because the number one way people are dying through the world, believe it or not, is diarrhea. And everybody's freaking out right now about dying from this or dying from that or this dying in their life and it's going to kill you. 4 billion people are dealing with where they don't have a place to take a shit. And you're freaking out about letting go of a situation that's so shitty, since we're speaking about shit, so shitty in your life, but you have a beautiful fucking toilet that you get to sit on and take your shit, and you probably have a baby wipe if you want to. And you have an awesome sink right next to it with clean water that you could literally drink out of if you want to, but that's fucking dirty water anyway, right? Maybe I just needed to give you a little bit of that to make you realize that the situations that you're going through in your life right now are fucking bullshit for you to even stay in that shit, because it's shit, it didn't work out, and you're just gonna swim in it. Why keep swimming in it when you have amazing things that are showing up in your life behind the Christmas tree that you don't want because your fucking ego is so attached to shit? I bet you 4 billion people would replace you any fucking day of the week for that problem. Think of it from that fucking standpoint and fucking move on into the greatness, into this North Node in Cancer. And this is the end of Jupiter. By the way, this is the end of Venus in Libra and Mercury in Libra connecting with Jupiter in Sagittarius. There are no more beautiful doors opening, folks, like in this way with relationships and all this stuff. This is it, folks. This is the big, where we make these big choices coming up here this week and this couple weeks. And then guess what? We come into Scorpio and it's going to be next to and only 30 degrees away from Jupiter. And I don't know if y'all know, but like Jupiter is going to be exiting soon. So I'm just trying to tell you all, like, this is, if you're not willing to open up and you're trying to use this opening door to have a gift that you've already had that's broken be the gift behind the tree, and you're just going to soak in that shit of what was shit already, I recommend that maybe you get replaced by one of the 4 billion people out there that don't have a shitter to go in, or they have a hole that has never been cleaned out. Go watch that documentary. It's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life, and I pray for those people every day. And I think Bill Gates and what he does with his family, it's amazing that they're out there changing things. But maybe you should just go over there, because that's what you're attaching your situation of shit as, when the truth is that this is as easy as having the luck that you are a Westerner that even gets to watch this right now, and that can have the most amazing things in your life and the most amazing relationships, and they're right in front of you and they're better ones, but you would rather just sit in the shithole. People are probably like, why does this guy like talk about shit so much? Fucking, Hey. That's the whole part about being real, folks. You don't get much more real. That's the one thing, when you go into dating, that's the one thing that's the weird thing, right? Is like girls try to do the poopery, and it's like, oh, I just know you took a poop. Guys, it's like, man, we're trying to hide the noise, turn on the water, turn on the shower. Girls do that too. But that's the whole part, is like, well, I'm uncomfortable because it's new situations I have to go through, or if I'm in an existing relationship and we've lost touch, or we're trying to work it out, it's like, yeah, you're gonna have to go into some new places. But ones that are not showing up and they're not gone, the evidence has been there from the eclipses of July 2nd through July 16th. I'm sorry that, all the energy from that time period that's happened. We're already at the square point to those, I'm sorry. And when you get to a square point to eclipses, I mean, that's next week too. Ironically enough, when Venus comes back into actual view, that we actually come into this place where you gonna have beauty or not? Why? But everybody's so attached to, oh my God, no, I just gotta, one thing I laugh with, and I'm gonna be very open. I went through a divorce this year, and everybody asked me, like, did you have enough time to grieve? Did you have enough time to do all this shit? It's like, of course, I do that. I go to therapy, I do all this stuff. But that doesn't mean that when you lose somebody or anything that you have to remember that you have your own heart and you have your own happiness, and that there's all these unwritten laws of like, well, you should wait this long until you do this, or you should wait this long. I hope my ex goes off into the most amazing relationship ever. And I would hope that she would want the same for me. That just hasn't happened yet, but if it would have showed up in my life right now, I would have been in one. And that's life. So people gotta just start like getting out of these rules in their head of, well, what are my friends gonna think? Or what is this gonna think? Or what, am I doing the right thing? You are lost in the South Node and Saturn and Capricorn bullshit. And you know what? My grandma turned 94 yesterday, and she's cooler than all of us out here. My grandma's not putting rules on herself. She's living her life fully. But here we are, and here's most of you all, and myself sometimes included, but I'll be honest, I'm not much of I have Jupiter in Capricorn, so I'm kind of the devil of Capricorn. I'm kind of the one like laughing on the trail and laughing at work and made a career fucking talking about shit. But why are you being a grandpa or a grandma? When you're not. Maybe you are watching one, and you're probably laughing at these other people because you're like, oh yeah, like once I became a grandma and grandpa, I actually kind of like that, but I'm also remembering my youth. But I'm talking to the Pluto-Scorpio generation, the Sag generation, and even part of the Libra generation, like, why do you have all these fucking rules? Or anybody born with Saturn and Capricorn, with all of your guys' Saturn returns right now, 88, 89, in the 90, like, what the fuck? You're a grandpa, aren't you? You're grandma, aren't you? Why are you going to be a grandma or grandpa when you're not? Live your life. All right. Look at this amazing, crazy day we're in right now. We just had the equinox, right? So boom, we're shifting seasons. But look at this Venus, 13 degrees. And what is it doing? It's squaring that Saturn at 13. That's why this is a tough day, Tuesday. It's like, oh my gosh, Venus, which wants beauty and romance and happiness and Libra and connection, is squaring over to Saturn, which is work and things that don't work out. But it's for a purpose. It's for a destined reason. And you have to align that, but it also means that even though a square is difficult, like a 90-degree angle, it is what builds things in life, okay? And there is something about this trying to build something better in your life instead of you forced on what is not working. Why don't you force on what is showing up and wanting to work in your life instead of sticking in the delusion of what's not working? Because Saturn's now direct saying like, I'm ready for work. I don't know what everybody's doing. So Saturn's kind of like at the construction site going like, nobody wants to work right now? Everybody's in their car going, I'm going through this thing. But it's like the person who starts showing up and being like, yeah, I'm ready to work. It's like, you're ready to work? I'm giving you a bonus. You ready to work? Like, you over that yet? Like, that's already been showing itself for a long time. Mercury is exactly sextile Jupiter here on Tuesday night. And it's like, even though there's this shitty situation that you might feel like you're going through with your values, relationships, or feeling good, guess what? Mercury is like, I see all these great things. Look at this beautiful aspect, Mercury and Jupiter. I have to experience new things. I need to go into new places. And guess what? I'll find the connection. Remember, Libra is a diplomat. So it goes into a room and, if it's a diplomat, like let's say for America, and it's going to go make a deal with some other country about a trade deal or whatever. Like let's say it's going to go deal with the EU right now, or maybe if the UK goes through Brexit, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to go deal with the UK. Well, maybe if you just look at just that one thing, it's like, oh, okay, like I got to work with them. But maybe with Mercury sextile Jupiter and even Venus this week sextile Jupiter, it's like maybe if I look around, maybe there's other countries and there's other people that I can know to get a better way to deal with this, or maybe there's a better deal somewhere else. So being so narrow-minded on how things are, especially look at Chiron here at 3 degrees, right? So now it's retrograded back to 3. It stopped at the end of 5 degrees. And look at this opposition that's building. And this is that ego, this weird, and I'm going to be honest with you, when you're attached to this aspect of like this ego thing of like how you want things to look, it's like the beauty will come a different way. It will come in a way that is much better than you ever even could have fathomed. And it's almost like people are projecting that everything that's coming at it is weird. But if you're aware of yourself and your true identification of like, if you're in just like full control mode, especially Mars and Virgo, right? Like, okay, I'm hammering down into my reality and this is the way that it works for me and da-da-da-da-da. It's like, why don't you change the way that you live your life and allow something better in? That's what the square was over there to Jupiter. The square. And so Mars now is not making any aspects. Look at that. That Mars is just kind of lost. I mean, it is making actually the moon really quick here. But this moon in Leo, look at it. Here on Tuesday night is trying to connect with Venus, awesome. Not even trying, it is. And to Mercury and to Jupiter. And the sun is in Libra. Libra and Leo love each other. This is what love and relationship is. So this is a fated moment. And Venus is squaring the nodes, which I'll show you while the moon's in Leo. We'll go to Wednesday to show you this, all right? All right, Wednesday, September 25th. Y'all ready for this? I'm ready for this. Here's Venus at 14 degrees. This is a big deal, all right? Because now it's off that square to Saturn, but look at it, it's an exact square to the north and the south node. Now, these are the nodes of the moon. These are the knots. Node in Latin is knot, all right? K-N-O-T. These are invisible. These are where we know every 18 months they cycle through a zodiac sign, and every 18 years it takes to come back here. The last time we had this north node over here was in 2000, 2001, okay? So guess what? When Venus squares these nodal aspects of the moon, there's a lot of karma, there's a lot of destiny aspects here. And Venus is kind of like one of those planets that, because it is so, I guess you could say, hot. It is the hottest planet. Like that really emotionally gets us. It's just like, oh. And Mercury's hot. You get this really hot energy that's trying to connect with, are we going to just look at the south? Remember, this is the south node when the knot is upside down. Okay? When the knot is upside right, it's north. Okay? And look at this. I'm not even kidding, but the north node is literally conjuncting the North Star, which is serious. And if you actually go into binary star systems, okay, what a binary star is, imagine here's our sun, and it's got its orbit around the galaxy. But there is this other aspect to this where you have to remember that Sirius is like our sister star. That's actually, there's a lot of binary star proof that all stars have a brother, sister, or husband, wife, however you want to look at it, other star. And Sirius is our North Star. This is where all the ancients pointed all of the pyramids. This is where today, if all the power was to go out and you had nothing and you were in the middle of a shitty situation, guess who you'd look for? Where's the North Star? Oh, there it is. That's north. I live in California and let's say I was in fucking Russia. I'd be like, I need to go way southwest. You know what I mean? So I'd go that way. And I'd just keep following that trail. But a binary star system is where Sirius is connected to our sun. Now, this is a theory, but there's a lot of theories that prove this is true. Now, the way that it works is if we could actually have some fun right here, and I just want to say that this is an important part about dealing with relationships right now and the understanding of how this is actually kind of an interesting subject matter when it comes to relationships, the relationships with suns, which are stars. So technically, this turn that we just made on 2012, this is part of the 2012 thing. Not only if you look at the galactic of the galactic plane, they call it. So imagine that, when you see the picture of a galaxy, right? You see it always from the top view like this. but imagine it from a side view, and imagine the sun now is reaching, for the next 12,000 years, this top part, and then it goes down in the wave, and then it comes up. So there's 12K here, or 12K, 12K. So not only was 2012 the sun now reaching more than just on the bottom side of the galactic plane of the equator of the galaxy, it's now reaching more up. But it also means that we made our biggest turn because we are the farthest away from Sirius, as both the star systems, the stars, are heading towards each other. And when they reach this zone, which is the golden age, if you've ever heard that, that's when they're at their most synergized energy, and it's freaking insane. Now, we were in the darkest zone up until where we were at recently. So I think that it's important for people to realize that this is a moment where the turn is happening in life. And Sirius, technically, even some people say that Sirius is already, of course, dead, and we're just seeing the light millions and light years later. But there is something to say that what if the light that people see on Sirius, if there are people or anything, that we're already gone and that our sun's dead? I mean, we're talking about long revolutions here. But we've made the turn, and I think that we need to make sure that when you look at life, that this is a turn. When Venus squares the nodes, this is your choice in life. Man, everybody is texting me saying, this is bomb. We are turning the... I have all this shit off too, fucking. You either are going to be focused on your shit, because Saturn on the South Node in Capricorn, I'm sorry to say, is shit that you are trying to control. This is control issues. This is greed. This is Scrooge. Okay? And Mickey Mouse is up here. I'm using the old Disney version of Ebenezer Scrooge and Mickey Mouse, okay? So right now in your life, you can choose to be with Scrooge or Mickey Mouse. Pretty simple. I'm trying to lay the simplest thing. And Mickey Mouse is hanging out with our connection right now, very rarely, in the exact position of the North Star, where the ancients, our binary star system, the connection to what the ancients pointed. Remember that Sirius thousands of years ago was red and then it turned blue. Some people say that that's what the wise men over Bethlehem were understanding of Jesus, believe it or not. This is where this shit is pointing to. Do you want to point your relationship life and all of this stuff towards where the ancients pointed to, where they found divine energy, where Mickey Mouse is there and greeting you and loving and got support and really wants to be there and really wants to be with you and all this thing? Or do you want to just continue to hold on to Scrooge because you think that it's going to advance you somehow? Even though you'll be more advanced probably with emotional support and energy that'll take you to anywhere in the world, really, because that's exactly where the ancients pointed to. Or are you just going to sit with Ebenezer Scrooge and with Pluto down there too, the Grim Reaper? Oh, he's real fun. He's really fun. You know, because he doesn't really reveal himself. Pluto is always hidden, and there's always something that's hidden down there. There's something disconnected, because whenever the South Node is in a sign with planets, that planet is not operating, really to its best aspect, and it will show a lot of the darker shades of it. And you have to realize that this Pluto-Saturn thing is no joke. This is the last week fully of Pluto retrograde. It's about to come direct on October 3rd. So are you going to go hang out in this world? And this is what's approaching this week, and you'll see. And look at this. The sun on this day, as Venus squares it, is starting to really make that opposition to Chiron. So get out of this weird ego of how you want things to be. For real. And actually use this North Node towards Juno, which, remember that Juno is the committed one. That's why in astrology, when people go, where's your Juno? And if you're new to astrology, it's because Juno married Jupiter after Lilith pretty much pieced the fuck out. You know what I mean? And I like Lilith. She's a badass motherfucker. She's like the Angelina Jolie, like, fuck you, I don't want to be with you no more. And Lilith, or Juno is a lot more like, I don't know, like Gwyneth Paltrow, or what's her mom's name? Or I don't know, just somebody who's there forever. Nancy Reagan. To Ronald. No matter what Ronald does, even got him as an astrologer, Joan Quigley, in the White House in 81 through 88. You know what I mean? Like, that's how much that Nancy had, Ronald's back. So the North Node is saying right now, if you point it towards support and emotion and help, people that want to be with you, and there's a home and there's a connection to the past of roots that are real, not false, like not false roots. Like, oh, we had a connection. That doesn't mean roots. But roots that are deep. And you're gonna feel in this boneyard. Now, Thursdays where things get pretty kind of crazy because you had your options with that moon in Leo, Tuesday, Wednesday, of positivity, and it's connecting with this stuff, and Venus square the nodes, you have a choice of Mickey Mouse and with the happiness and all this shit, and then we come into a dark moon. So a dark moon is when, of course, the sun and the moon are exactly 30 degrees apart. We are less than 30 degrees by the time we're at midday, but for if you're on the other side of the world, it's still on Thursday, the dark moon, balsamic phase, 30 degrees. And I like to teach people astrology too, because, this is like the menstrual cycle of the moon. This is where the period is, the 2.5 days of the period. The egg did not, make a baby. So guess what? 2.5 days, a woman sheds that egg. PMS is the whole other aspect of a dark moon, okay? So a dark moon PMSing in Virgo? No, I want my life to be like this. Oh my gosh, I got hot flashes right now. No, this needs to be this way. And I can't understand why this isn't this way. And this, and guess what? The sun is opposed Chiron in the middle of a dark moon with a PMSing Virgo moon. And what's Mercury doing? Oh, it's squaring Pluto. Exactly. So that becomes almost a tyrant or an anger, or when Pluto's just saying, change your mind and rethink into what is right and what's wrong. Like, and let's just go get what you want to get. Let's get what you want to get. Let's get rid of your ideas of what's right and wrong and balanced and righteous. And why do you want to keep figuring out why that didn't work? Like, what do you need to prove to yourself? Like, you've already gotten all the information. Like, let's make the transformation. And let's go get what we want to get. I'm about to turn direct, so I know you want to look at the past stuff, but I already put an end to it. Like, I cut it off. And this dark moon is going to be really weird because it's going to come into this big T square energy. So I'm going to show you that as we come into Friday. Friday, the sun comes off this Chiron, thank God. But this moon's going to come over Mars in dark phase. So this is a raging PMS episode. I don't know if that exists. Does that exist? I don't know. Nobody wants to answer me. Sensitive subject. I'll talk about sensitive subjects. Is there such thing as raging PMS? I think guys, we go through our own PMS every month too. So I'm not saying that it's only a woman thing. Like, trust me, every guy's got a 2.5 day moment of fuck it, where we're just emotional. What the fuck, man? So I'm not saying that it's just a girl thing. It's a guy thing too. And you know what? Guess what? This is on Mars, and a dark moon on Mars can start taking crazy action to try. What does Virgo try to do? Oh, I can fix that. I can figure that out. I can clean you up. Let me try and clean that up. I can clean this up. But it's dark. It's delusional. The moon is dark. You cannot see the moon. Literally cannot see the moon. That's why it's called a dark moon. Unless you go out right before sunrise, and you sit there and you wait, and you'll see the moon pop up for a little second, and then the sun comes up and it's gone. You can't see it. It's just gone. So that's why it's called dark moon. And this is like where the Tibetan astrology comes from, is like on this 2.5 day cycle. It's about releasing the last month of energy and allowing the good stuff to be able to come in. Instead of you trying to continue to rage, especially with Mars there at a dark moon. Yeah. And Virgo, I'm going to rage, and with it squaring Jupiter, bad luck, and oh my gosh, and I don't understand, and I just feel like this, so sensitive and lost. Or you could turn this into, this is a great adventure, and I'm creating a new reality. I'm going to identify with a new one. I'm so glad I'm ending that, and I'm moving into this amazing new paradigm. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And as Venus is at 16 degrees, it's going to make a quincunx over to Neptune. Bang! Well, Pisces and Libra energy is very, very, very imaginative into beauty and to art and to like love in a very beautiful way. Or it is the deep, dark, judgmental, like lost, like, ah! You got a choice this week. Mickey Mouse, Scrooge, McDuck. And I'm not talking about Scrooge from, not even like DuckTale Scrooge. Like that guy's cool. Even though he's all Capricorn with the money and control of that, he still like gives the kids a cool time. And DuckTales is great. It's not DuckTales. It's more like the story of on Christmas. There's so much Christmas shit coming up right now. But yeah, like, what's that movie called? Fucking when the three ghosts come? Christmas Carol. The Mickey Mouse Christmas Carol. It's on iTunes. But, you know, and what does Scrooge have to learn? Emotion and opening up and letting go. Letting go. And when he opens up to emotion, and when Scrooge does that, guess what he does? He becomes so happy about life. And then even if you watch the version with Bill Murray, I think it's Scrooged. The Bill Murray version, when he's the top exec of the TV company and everything, and he has to go see the three Ghosts of Christmas Past. And at the end, he starts just loving life and doesn't give a fuck anymore about all that shit that he was so attached to and so lost in. And he's just so happy. That's what's waiting for people. I'm just going to keep doing that for a second. Christmas trees and gifts. Menorahs and gifts. All right. The 28th, Saturday at 11:27 a.m. Pacific. That'll be 2:27 p.m. Eastern. The new moon happens at 5 degrees of Libra. And we move into a new lunar cycle for the next month. And the period is over. All right. So guys, you can put your pads and throw them in the trash. Women, you can get rid of the Midol. And actually, there's a joke that I don't know women who take Midol, but I know a guy who takes Midol. Trying to get a good laugh out of Craig. Did you take some Midol today, dog? And it's not Craig either. You need some? You need some Midol, dog? Fucking, that'll make you feel better. Actually, you know, racers take Midol, believe it or not. Midol's over, but it's in quincunx to, oh, that was a horrible fucking line here. Hold on, here we go. All right, so this is quincunxing over to Uranus, this new moon. Moving forward into Taurus, better situations that are moving forward. I talked about the three little pigs. I'll use one more freaking example. In The Wizard of Oz, when the crazy tornado comes and pulls the house with Dorothy in Kansas into the weird world, and the Wicked Witch is dead, she only has one choice but to move forward. She can sit there and keep looking at this dead witch and that she's not in Kansas anymore, Toto. She must walk down a new yellow brick road and meet new people and new friends that are going to be actually the best thing that ever happened to her, because I think she was fucking, especially I think that movie was like, what, the 20s or the 1930s? There was probably not a lot going on in Kansas back then. Think the Dust Bowl and shit. So guess what? At least she found some imagination and something better by walking down a new road. But if you choose to still sit at that house in Kansas and keep looking at, I'm not where I want to be, well, guess what? The Wicked Witch just might pop up with her freaking little monkeys just all over you. And you're going to be like, what the fuck? Move forward. Especially, this is a very unique new moon because guess what also is happening? It's making another quincunx over here. Or actually, this is, sorry. It is. It's a quincunx, or it's an opposition to Chiron. And then, let me get rid of that. I was looking at the quincunx from Venus to Neptune. But let's do with this opposition to Chiron first. So yeah, again, more this old ego identity, like that's warped, that you're attached to something that is deformed. You're attached to something that is not fully developed, and it never developed the way you want to. So it's like, I live in California. We have a lot of avocados. So it's like, it's like, that was the avocado you were dealt. You got it, and it was ripe, but almost too ripe, and now it's fucking all fucked up, and now you're just like, and you're trying to just, now it's got black around it, and you're trying to just like get just enough of the green out, and like you're like hoping this thing is gonna make like guacamole. Like, come on, are you fucking serious? Like, throw it away and go get a new avocado. That's better. And I know that's hard for people to hear, but with the nodes in Cancer and Capricorn, that's what it's all about. It's like the bike just went out, the batteries, and it's like, you can look at it like this. And you guys didn't miss anything. I stopped talking, so I caught up right where you were at. But I want to tell you this. Mic just went out, right? Instead of like sitting here and freaking myself out, like, I put new batteries in. Those batteries died. And you know what's funny is like Craig and I check and it's like, it showed over 50% batteries, so usually we're good, but sometimes it'll just suck battery, and then guess what? Some things that you think have more life in them don't. And when they die, if you're gonna sit there and try and recharge a battery that's not rechargeable, what are you doing? So you put new batteries in, and guess what? Your life is fucking revived. Now, this new moon, this is where I lost you all. And the opposition to Chiron is this weird warped identity and this ego of you trying to, again, the battery analogy is a great one. The batteries have died, but you don't want to put new batteries in. You were so used to the color that they are, the way that they are, you were comfortable with them, but they really weren't working that great anyway. They just went out on the show. And you needed them to stay on. And they're not there, and they're not there. So you have to go find replacements. This is Libra now. It is time for us to find the energy that connects with us in the same energy that we want to have, instead of continually trying to force and fix with this dark moon in Virgo, and then Mars in Virgo as well, to use it to create a new identity. Mars is going to take 2 years to come back into Virgo. You're not going to be able to change your reality like this powerfully, for 2 years. That's why I keep telling people, like, this is no joke. Like, if you think you've got all this time, there's not much time left. And with Venus, which is going to sextile Jupiter on the new moon, this is amazing. The two benefic planets in astrology in their home sign Okay, benefic means ultimate best, happy, positive energies. And they're in their home signs. They are connecting in a sextile, a 60-degree angle that is perfect. And it's perfect, and it's allowing you to have the most amazing opportunities if they are of new experience. It's not what you already have experienced. Because Jupiter's lesson is experience and growth. And Venus in Libra is about what is equally showing up and also what is a fresh canvas of beauty. Fresh. Both Aries and Libra are cardinal new seasons. And this is a new season of relationships. It's a new season of how they react. It's a new season of all of these aspects and how you move into new experiences. And I know it's hard for people that are caught up in the past because Venus is making that weird quincunx to Neptune. But you know what? It's a backwards path that will continue on a backwards path. And Neptune is retrograde all through October, all the way until the end of November. So, and if you think, oh, well, I can wait till then. Oh, well, sorry, everything's over at that point. Like, that's just the truth. Mercury will be retrograde in Scorpio. Venus will go through Scorpio and into Sag with Jupiter, but Mercury will be retrograde, and Jupiter's going to be leaving, and the Sun will be in Scorpio but moving into Sag, and it's going to be making squares to Neptune and all that. So I'm trying to tell you, this new moon means no joke. And that's what this whole week is are you going to use all this week to get to this point, to rocket ship something beautiful, or are you just going to continue to just live a life of suffering and crap? As we move to Sunday, the new moon's over, but the moon's going to conjunct Venus there, and with Mercury. We're going to have a nice little, stellium here. Now, let's actually throw this away here. Okay, so we have a nice stellium, and these three are benefic. Okay, I mean, Mercury turns malefic or benefic depending on what it's with, but there is that face off to Pluto now, which is like, do you know how to accept this? Can you actually make the change? Like, it's going to be a test. Like, can you actually let the new season start and let something new do it, and commit? And Pluto square Venus and Pluto square the moon tends to be where people clam up or close up or have trust issues. Like, well, that happened to me in the past, so I guess what? I just am going to automatically think that that's going to happen to me again. Well, if you really believe that, well, good luck, especially with Jupiter and Sag, right? It's all about beliefs, and that's at 18 degrees. And what does 18 equal? 9. Strong. Okay? Strong beliefs. At a time where if you really believe and you have trust issues and you don't want to let anything in, well, guess what? That's what you'll get. That's your gift. Here you go. An empty bag of empty. Not even a bag. Here you go. There it is. I don't know, whatever you want to make it, but there it is. Have a nice one. You got to learn that you can't have control of everything in this life. That life is beautiful. But yes, at the same time, Pluto reminds us that it is, we like to say everything lasts forever. It's not. The place would be boring. And so I think that, it's a reminder that you have to trust, you have to open up, you need to experience beauty. You have to do it. You have to actually commit to it. You have to actually just allow it to come in and trust beauty. But there's so many trust issues in this planet right now because everybody's freaking out over losses. That's why I went so hard on you all at the end of the channeling session, because it's like, I'm sorry to say, but there's 4 billion people out there right now that are probably not watching this because they're too concerned right now about not only are they pooping into their own water and then they're drinking it, they're just trying to make it through a day where they're not going to have a bad diarrhea infection and die. So, what's also interesting to me is I just really feel like really deeply that we're just at a really potent time, because everything in this stellium, this is going to be the big Libra energy, okay? And then Mars is coming to Libra, but remember Mercury is going to leave Libra. Mercury doesn't come back into Libra until next year, when Mars is in, and about at the end of this, by next week at the end of it. But this is a lot of Libra right here, and with Mercury here, and this is a time for us to do communication and speak emotionally, and also think about new emotional awesome connections, and have conversations. And even though they might be deep, and maybe, you know, there might be hard past stuff or hard trust issues, it's about accepting them, that we all have baggage, we all have shit that's happened to us, we all have shit that we have trust issues with. But if you could just be open and honest and put them out there, and everybody do that, it's like if you put it all on the table, it's like, guess what? Pfft. I know what your trust issue is. I will not do that to you. Like, you have to allow that for trust. And even let's say fucking somebody does it again to you. It's something that you're probably continuing to, are they going to do that? Are they going to do that? Pluto is about release. Why do you think it rules sex? That'd be like somebody who's about to come all the time is like, I'm going to come, but you don't come. Until you release it and you're like, I fucking had an orgasm. You let it out. But you're not sitting there going like, I'm not going to come. Or I think I might, I don't know. No, you fucking just do it or not. Like, pfft, you trust or not. There is no gray. Might trigger some people too. Trigger city. All right, Monday, we start to see Venus getting closer to finally starting to be seen, because it's coming off enough. This is the actual, if you look at through the space and the astronomers right now. The moon in Scorpio to start off the week next week. But the big news, of course, is Venus exactly square Pluto, which is this just, are you going to allow things in, or are you going to close things out of beauty? Are you going to try and have control, trust control? The trust police are out, and you're the trust police themselves. We also have Juno, which is going to oppose Neptune, which is trying to, well, I want somebody who fits exactly in my life perfectly. Well, be open to how that will work. Let God and let your experience, Jupiter, as that's starting to square Juno, and let this T-square that's coming up be about the experience and finding ways that there's always, if you were to look at life and a bunch of things, you're like, oh, it needs to fit exactly in there, exactly this way. It's like, okay, well, why don't you experience it and see, maybe, it's like a bookshelf. Maybe this book can fit in that way and that way. Or maybe there's more room in the fridge than you thought. And that moon in Scorpio in its fall, and this Uranus in Taurus in its fall, when we're looking at this Venus square Pluto and whether we let things in or not, this is a whole aspect of let's move forward into better things, and let's emotionally connect to that. Let's not emotionally close off and be stuck in brooding or stuck in darkness, or more importantly, because it's at its fall here. And if we're not going to move forward into better things, well, guess what? This can be a recipe for disaster. This whole week, if you think about it, everything is either a recipe for disaster or a recipe for the most amazing things in your life. And that's what you need to choose. And that's here on Tuesday night and into Wednesday, right now. You need to make that choice right now, because it's either going to go way fucking down hard, or it's going to go fucking amazing high fast. And that's all due to the fact that whether or not you are going to learn to connect and be open and to transmute whatever has happened. It's called transformation, turning lead into gold. That's true alchemy. It's true essence of what God does. Everything on this planet dies and is turned into something, and even our bodies, and it re-goes into the freaking earth, and it turns into something. And we are just a regurgitation of all that shit. So, that's how I'm going to end this week for you all. Because amazing opportunities are here. But that's it, folks. There's no more Venus with Jupiter in their home dignified energies and positivity. Remember that when Venus is in Taurus and it makes its quincunx over to Jupiter in its home sign, that's not, as great of a transit. We've had that one. But you know what? Sure, when Jupiter's exalted or at its, you can call it its dignity in Pisces, sextile to Venus and Taurus, yeah, that one's good. But that one deals more with like, are you creating a spiritual world that's much more in alignment? This is the relationship experience train. This is where you survive in the fall and winter through the relationships you have. That's why Libra starts the fall. Is what relationships are you gonna survive the darkness with for 6 months? What, do you have trust issues? Can you trust in Scorpio? Do you believe, Sag, that you can make it through? Because yeah, December 21st when Capricorn comes, it is the darkest day of the year. And then you have to have that strength to be a goat and climb that mountain and get to Aquarius where you need to find a way. And yes, it's the rainy season, but the main thing is that Aquarius is a time where you have to learn. You need to start thinking about the future because the sun is going to come up, and you need to disconnect from this cold. And you gotta disconnect, and you gotta make it through, and you gotta be, helping others to get through because there's not a lot of food left. And then we get through Pisces, which is the ultimate, which is the same as what Jesus did. And after crucifixion, to become Christ, you must go through your rite of passage. And it's where Lent happens, the fish, and why people eat fish on Fridays and they don't eat this shit. I mean, all that's there, but that's where we go to, is that ultimate surrender. And all of those energies are playing out right now. This is now where all the energy, when Mars moves into Libra next week, okay, nothing else except for just Uranus in the top part of the zodiac. That's it. And I'll erase this all so you can see what I mean by that. That next week, and you can't count Juno because Juno is a small little asteroid. Ain't no big planet. That's a beautiful erasing job. We'll just do this. How about this? Let's actually get a little bit crazy here. Crazy. Okay. So here's Aries to Libra. This is the top part of the zodiac, right? But really you need to look at it from 0 degree. So you have to look at it from here. All that's left is Mars and Uranus. And when Mars comes into Libra next week, all we have is Uranus retrograde in Taurus that's saying, the only thing in life that is positive is by moving forward into trying new things that are better in your life. Everything else is about the relationships, the trust you have, the beliefs you have, and whether or not you're going to move forward. The helping energy is kind of weird right now. Who's your tribe and who's that's going to be? But that's because we need to define the experiences we're going to have with what relationships we're going to have, what we're going to commit to, and then we find tribe. And once we know with where we're going and we have the grit to move forward, then we'll understand this tribe stuff when all this Aquarius stuff comes. And as we change into the Chinese New Year of the rat, where guess what? That is a start of a whole new cycle. That's why I'm saying, that's it, folks. Like, you either are going to take this, you're going to do something, you make this the greatest week of your life and accept new things, or you're just going to brood and connect to crap. And you know what? That image that I keep getting, and my guides just want to throw at you one more time. I'm going to throw the shit in your face. That there are 4 billion people out there that are shitting in a hole, and that hole has not been cleaned for fucking sometimes 100 years or more. Could you imagine that? Today, when I was in my bathroom and I was doing my hair and I was washing my hands and I was brushing my teeth, I was so thanking and so grateful from God that I even have running water and that I could use the bathroom in a clean space, and that what the fuck am I tripping out on my life for? My first world problems. My rejection issues, my feeling where if I want energy or I want to connect with someone and they don't want it, it's like, wow, that's my fucking hardest aspect in my life? Wow. So, I wish you all the best. I love you all very much. We got After Dark. Stay here on High Vibe. Please join High Vibe too. It really is what keeps this show live. And we got to think of a marketing campaign, and we've just been really busy here just putting this free content out to you all. But, it's like, we got to figure something out, because, a lot of people are taking this info, and that's great. And I want to give it out for free, but also, I just can't, why do you think I did my last reading sale? To keep things floating. But after that, it's like I'm tapped out on that, and you know what I mean? Like, we're ready, we want to go. We don't want to quit, and we want to make this great. We want to involve a lot of people. So please check out highvibe.tv. Even if you buy just one video a month, one horoscope, one of my dailies, one of Jack's dailies, one of Tamara's videos, one of Tim's videos, like, there's so much. Watch the free stuff on there. It's amazing. There's so much. I'd truly appreciate it. That's the way to come back. Or, of course, check out thewbros.com. Not only are these awesome jewelry aspects, especially with the rings, where you can get it in sterling silver, 18 karat gold, 18 karat rose gold, in all your different zodiac signs, but they're like good luck charms, for real, of like wearing it and owning your sign. Like, I'm gonna put on all three of my moon and my rising and my sun sign. But, there's also awesome necklaces as well that I have that are beautiful. I'm gonna be making a video on them. So go to thewbros.com, click on collections on horoscopes. Remember that 10% of all of the purchases go to the Anxiety and Depression Association. That really is a thing that was one of the big selling points for me, of wanting to, start putting jewelry out there that honestly I can attach my name to, that I can say, go here, this is awesome. Like, it's amazing, it's beautiful. I've been rocking it for weeks, and the discount code is LK10. Thanks so much for all your support, and I will see you all in the next Deep Astrology.